Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
The issue that we have to talk about tonight as well is the Draymond Green situation that's been going on. As we all know, Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely. The Warriors are, I think, as of right now, they sit outside of the playing tournament, and this guy Draymond Green just can't seem to get himself out of trouble. A couple of weeks ago, he got ejected for choking out Rudy Gobert. He got suspended, I believe, what was it, like 10 games or something like that.
Might
He
have
comes
been
back
like 5 or something like that.
5 games. I think it was 5 games. He
Yeah.
gets suspended for 5 games, comes back, plays a couple of games. Next thing you know, it's a haymaker to Yusuf Nurkic on Thursday playing the Phoenix Suns. And now the NBA has kind of just been done with Draymond Green, and they've washed their hands with him and slapped an indefinite suspension on him. And now he's unable to hop on the court and play with this Warriors team until he checks off the checklist, kind of similar to what they did to a guy like Kyrie Irving. And, pretty much saying that, hey, man, you're not right mentally and you're not going to be able to come back to the court until you get everything right and everything situated. And so now it's just kind of confusing for this Golden State Warriors team. I personally just don't know where they go from here. So that's my question. Where do the Warriors go from here?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of tough because, like, this is really the natural cycle of a dynasty. You win a lot. You give them a contract. You guys grow older, and then things just kind of die down like that. Steph Curry's still playing at a top 5 player level. He's still one of the best talents we've ever seen, and it's just like, well, you can't really wash your hands. The Warriors can't wash their hands with Draymond Green because, for one thing, he's still one of the best defenders in the entire NBA, regardless of what happens to him. This guy just holds together that Warriors defense. He's just a phenomenal defensive quarterback. Basically, the guy puts everything together on that end. So it's hard to wash your hands with him because you don't have a replacement for Draymond Green, however bad he may be offensively. And it's like it's getting to the point where Draymond Green, you can put up with his antics so much because what the value that he brings, but there's going to be a crossroad where does his value match up with what he consistently does and harms us, on the court or off the court, whatever he does. And so that's kind of like the dilemma that the Warriors are in. I do think that they end up just gonna be forced to put up with it because he's part of their dynasty. It's tough to cut ties with a guy who you've won multiple championships with, who's anchored your defense multiple times, was big part of that 2022 run, especially in the regular season defensively. I think he should have been a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year until he got injured. I just think that you're kind of stuck with the Draymond Green situation. You can't wash your hands because it's not like he has crazy value. In another situation, he's holding your defense together. But it's like, man, like you gotta lock in. It's kind of embarrassing at this point. You have guys that legitimately think that you need help. Like they think that there's something wrong with you mentally, and there obviously isn't something wrong with Draymond Green mentally. It's just a bunch of encore antics. You have guys like Katie saying, I hope he gets the help that he needs. You have Yusuf Nurkic saying, I hope that brother gets help. You have a lot of guys that are just basically saying like, yo, like something's wrong with this guy. So I think Draymond Green needs to look at himself and just understand that he's, you're at the back end of your career. You're part of a big three that won multiple championships together. You need to seriously lock in. You need to stop, all these antics. You need to focus straight on basketball. Do what you do defensively. Bring the value that you bring, and just to stick to that because you can't just keep hurting this team in this type of situation because they're willing to put up they're putting up with you in good faith, but you're not returning the favor. So I think that's just what the Warriors have to do.
This brother Draymond, man, I don't know how many times are we gonna ask Draymond, hey, we need you to lock in, we need you to stop doing stupid shit, we need you to stop punching people, we need you to stop messing with teammates, we need you to stop running people out, we need you to stop getting suspended. This shit been going on since 2016. It hasn't really stopped at all. For me, it's how many chances you're gonna give this guy, regardless of what he brought to the city. I feel like he's soiling the locker room. He's soiling what's happening on the court. He's messing up the team mojo. Leading up to that Jordan Poole situation, that I feel like threw a lot of people off in that locker room. And like I said, these past couple of years, these Warriors been dwindling down. I feel like their dynasty is gonna be coming to an end. Klay Thompson's not looking like what Clay is, and I feel like for them it's It's either you tell Draymond like, yo, it's your last opportunity. We're gonna chop you. It's time for you to go. They want to show something to these young rookies that they have on this team that he's not the leader. He's not the guy that can do that. He's for me, he's always out. He's always suspended. He's always hitting somebody. He's always punching somebody. I don't know. I don't know how you tell a guy that about 15 to 20 times, hey, we need you on the court. He still doesn't listen. Me, I just feel like, Draymond's Draymond. But when people say, hey, this guy's depressed or he's like, Gobert coming out saying that, he needs to seek therapy, he needs to seek help. And you can't say that about a guy that's probably enjoying his life outside of basketball. You don't know the person probably outside of basketball. You don't know if he's happy. You don't know if he's enjoying his life with his family. Maybe, he's extremely happy. And then for people to come out and say, hey, he needs to seek therapy, he needs to step away from what he's doing, and he looks depressed, he's this and that. You're not a doctor. You can't judge that. Just keep it pushing. If it's basketball related, talk about basketball. Another case for me, man. These guys, you let Draymond come walk all over you on the court. You don't retaliate. You don't push back. You don't do nothing. To me, it's kind of soft. A lot of these other guys back in the day, Artest, all these type of guys, they will not. Ben Wallace, they will not let Draymond walk the court like that. Coming in there.
It's because niggas are just trying to hoop, bro. Like, you're not just gonna bro. Like, we're tired of the bullshit. Like, why you There's niggas like that, like Isaiah Stewart. Like he don't care about basketball. He really trying to fight, but there's niggas there's dudes trying to hoop, bro. Like, I'm just trying to hoop.
Space though,
bro, I'm coming to play basketball. I'm trying to win.
Like set the tone, hip checking.
Bro, if you engage back, bro, now guess what? Both of you are ejected, and that nigga Draymond clearly doesn't care about basketball. He don't care.
Draymond really don't care, but at the same time, he got to
Isaiah Stewart. He got nothing to lose. He's about it. He gonna fight.
Like Stewart, Isaiah Stewart need to see Draymond.
They got into it before because Stewart's about that. He's really trying to fight people.
That's what
other guys like Mitchell.
Draymond's not about that, bro. I'm telling you,
he's not gonna test. He's not gonna test actual dudes that really want to fight.
He's gonna pound his chest. Like I said, if you're going for layup, body check him. Set the tone. Tell him like, yo, if you want to play dirty, we can play dirty too.
The whole thing with him and Ant where they were arguing back and forth. Ant just said bet and just fried his ass for the next 10 points and they won that game. There's some dudes that are trying to hoop and there's some dudes that are literally trying to fight. There's some guys in the league you could try that shit with James Johnson or some shit, bro.
That's not gonna fly with James Johnson, man.
That shit ain't gonna fly in.
I know what you mean though. Some guys it gets annoying after a while. The same dude doing the same shit. Some guys just gotta be like, yo, dead ass, we can fight right now, type shit.
Right here, right now.
If you want
to play dirty, we can play dirty too. Don't go for a layup and come middle. I'm gonna hit you. Draymond he got comfortable on the court. That's why he be doing all this. Nobody has really G-checked him.
I mean, you guys think there's some truth to what Udonis Haslem was saying, where he just said where he's picking on dudes that just don't want to fight back?
100%.
You think Sabonis wants to fight back? That brother does not want to fight.
He's trying to hoop.
You think Nurkic wants to fight back? That brother wants to go back home, drink his tea, and relax. Come on.
But there's the reason why he keeps targeting these foreigners, bro. He's targeting these foreigners for a reason. Haslem's spitting facts. He's not really trying this with actual dudes that want to fight. Because when Tristan Thompson was slapping dude in the club, he wasn't doing anything, bro. Come on, man.
Wait, why do you know that, bro?
Come on, everybody knows that. Dude smacked him in the club. What was going on then? It's just facts. It's cool to be a tough guy to these guards.
Draymond got smacked in the club.
Yeah, in the club by Tristan Thompson. It's cool. It's cool when you can go ahead and fight these foreigners that are just trying to play basketball. They're just trying to do their job and just get out of there. But when actual dudes that are trying to fight, then it's a whole different story because now it's silent. Because I never see him try this with the Kawhis or the LeBrons or any of those other guys because he'd never try that shit with them. He never in his life would try that. But with these other random foreigners, he's gonna try it. That's some sorry shit, man.
Hey, man, I agree with you on that stance. I just think the way I look at this whole situation is availability is the best ability, and for this Golden State Warriors team, especially with the way that in the form that they're in right now, they need a guy like Draymond on the court at all times. And his teammates are coming out and saying that, they need him to be out there. His head coach is coming out and saying, we need him to be out there. But this guy just continues to pick on people and get himself ejected. I believe he has 3 ejections on the year and just doesn't look like he wants to be out there on the floor to help his guys out. And, when you look at the Warriors team, this team as a whole, they have a whole bunch of problems. And it's funny because the guy we thought would cause the most problems, which is Chris Paul, is a guy who's not causing the most problems at all. I know Chris Paul may have his issues. He might be that Coney, defensively, but the Warriors have far bigger problems than that. Klay Thompson isn't playing well. These last 3 games, he's stepped up a little bit since he's admitted that he's been playing like crap. But for majority of this season, leading up to these last 3 games, he's been trash. Andrew Wiggins, I'm not too sure what has happened to him since that 2021 or 2022 NBA Finals. Hasn't been the same player. Now he's on the bench because Steve Kerr had to make a move, to wake him up. And I believe he did have a good game the other night against I think it was either the Brooklyn Nets or the Portland Trailblazers. But at the end of the day, these guys don't necessarily have anybody. And that's why I feel like the Warriors right now, they're just kind of stuck where they are because, like I said in the beginning of the season, you have a guy like Steph Curry on your roster. You cannot look to tank. You cannot tell yourselves, hey, man, even though we know we're not going to be able to win a championship with what we got, let's go ahead and just try to lose as many games as we can. We'll just go ahead and compete each and every night. If we win, we win. But if we lose, it's all good and we just go ahead and try to get a top draft pick. That just can't happen for this Warriors team. And it's because of Steph Curry. And so when I look at the Warriors for the next 3-4 years, because Steph Curry is still going to be around, he's playing at a top 5 level. I honestly just do not know where they go from here. And my personal advice would be to just wash the house. I understand you have loyalty to a lot of these guys that brought you championships. Guys like Draymond Green, guys like Klay Thompson, guys like Kevon Looney. But at the end of the day, man, at some point, you just got to tell yourselves that the run was nice. Everything was good. They were able to squeeze out one more championship together. And they bought him a few more years together, bought the band back together. But with Klay Thompson going into the free agency market this upcoming season, I don't look to bring him back because I know the rumors coming into this season, he got offered a contract 2 years, $48 million. Klay Thompson does not look like a player that deserves $24 million a year. Like he does not look like that type of player whatsoever. He does not deserve that type of contract. He's playing maybe at like a $15 million level as of right now. Andrew Wiggins, I'm not too sure what you can get for him on the market right now, but I'm sure if you package him with a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, who you waited for, you waited on him to excel and grow and progress as a player, just hasn't reached that level yet. You don't necessarily have that type of time to wait and see how he develops as a player. You probably package him with Wiggins. You maybe have to throw in Moses Moody, a guy who I like a lot on this Warriors team, but just can't necessarily crack the rotation and get key rotational minutes for this Warriors team, and try to see what you can get. Because at this point, man, you got to be able to surround Steph with guys that are going to be able to, get you another championship. Because Steph's going to be able to lead the way. He there's no doubt about that. But he's got to have the players around him to do so. If guys like Draymond Green and Kevon Looney are in your lineup combining for about 0 points a game, how are you supposed to win basketball games? That game against the Phoenix Suns on Thursday night, Kevon Looney and Draymond Green both had 0 points at halftime, and they were losing, I believe. Like that's not winning basketball. You can't win. That's not the recipe to winning. And with how stacked the Western Conference is, and even though the race is close between all of these teams are significantly better than these guys. And Steph Curry can only do so much. At the end of the day, if Steph Curry has an off night, goodbye to your chances of winning that night. Because they're luckily able to escape last night against the Portland Trailblazers where he didn't hit a single three. But the Trailblazers are a tanking team, and you don't necessarily play him all 82 games of the season. You maybe play him 3-4 times, depending on how the schedule works out. And so, for this Warriors team, I know they have Mike Dunleavy now, and so it might be a different approach. Normally at the trade deadline, these guys aren't active whatsoever. I'm not too sure who they can get, to help rebuild this roster and to help, push these guys over the top and kind of put them back in that contenders bracket. Because right now on the outside looking in, sitting with the record of 12-14, Warriors basketball, it just hasn't been enjoyable whatsoever this season. At the beginning of the year, it was nice to watch. Maybe I would say the first 8-9 games, when guys were not playing this bad. But ever since those 8-9 games, teams started to figure out, these guys, and Steph Curry's been playing great, but Klay Thompson's play, went downhill. Draymond Green's availability is one night he's there for you, the next night you just can't count on him. And then Andrew Wiggins, of course, like I talked about, has been one of the worst players on this Warriors team. And so the only few bright spots on this team is that guy out of Santa Clara, Brad Przinski or something like that. He's been really solid for them. So that's the guy you probably want to keep around a little bit. You want to give him a little bit more time on this team. But outside of that, a lot of these guys just got to get washed, man. A lot of these guys got to get sent to different locations, get a new scene, new scenery and new home, and that's how you move forward as a franchise. Because I understand the whole dynasty run, their whole dynasty run has ended. These guys could be together for the next 5 to 7 years, but nobody's expecting them to get back to that championship level. Their last shot was last year, but that all went to shit because Draymond Green decided to punch Jordan Poole in the offseason and in training camp, and the chemistry was just off ever since then. And so, for this Warriors team, it's gonna take a lot of work for these guys to get back to the contenders bracket, not even just a championship bracket, just for them to be considered as playoff contenders in the Western Conference. And so it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. But with the way the season has gone so far for this Warriors team, it's a major concern, man. It's a major red flag, and Mike Dunleavy has to be the guy that makes the harsh calls and the harsh decisions moving forward.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lakes, now that's overkill.